and I'm feeling good.
Down. Stay down. Stay down. Stay down. Get down. Get down. Hey, get down. Get down. Get down, guys. Holy shit. No fucking way.
Good. We recording and rolling, guys.
Ready to rock.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the MagaBoyz podcast. I am Crypto Viking. I'm here with Crypto Patriot and our special guest, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Dan Meuser. We were together in Butler, and let me tell you what, Dan Meuser is one of the guys that I want in DC fighting for me. When those bullets flew over my head, you know what he told me to do? Fuck that, let's go fight.
Yep.
So with that, I'm going to pass it on over to Nick, and he's just going to ask you a few questions about what you thought about July 3rd. Oh, sorry. Congressman. I'm going to pass it over to Nick, and he's going to ask the Congressman a few questions about his experience and what he felt.
The MagaBoyz know me as Dan.
No,
Fighting Dan.
Fighting Dan. I like that.
Fighting Dan.
So, Nick, just whenever you're ready, ask him a few questions about July 13th and the lead up, aftermath, during.
So what, in your mind, Dan, what was going through your head, during that time? Obviously, we were there with you. We seen your reaction. The president came up, gave the infamous fight.
You need somebody to help cover them.
Good? Let's get him out of here. Let's get them out of here. All them.
We got cops back there. Stay down. Stay down. Stay down. Let them go. Clear the way. Clear the way. Clear the way. Get out of the way. Clear the way. Clear the way. Move. Move. Get down. Get back. Get back. Motherfuckers.
Fuck, dude.
Fucking.
You should leave, sir. I would highly suggest you leave.
No, I'm fucking fine.
Hey, boys, we're pinned here. We ain't pinned. Did they get the fucker? We need to get him out of here.
Easy, guys. Stay calm. Everybody here okay? All right. You take it out. No. Go back a little bit this way. They're getting crushed over here.
Are you taking a shooter?
There's probably going to be another shoot at the moment that they start evacuating people, so they need to start securing the perimeter. Yeah, we got more than one shooter. I guarantee you. There's definitely 2 or 3 shooters. You've got to secure the perimeter.
Are you okay?
Yeah, she's all right. Everybody over here is okay, though?
Well, I'm not going to. Yeah. So after that, what was the mindset?
Well, I'll tell you, at first it was just serious concern for the president's well-being. I didn't know how many times he was hit, right? All we saw was he was hit in the head. I mean, he got up, so that was obviously a good sign. So when they finally got him towards the car, I was very angry. I felt a lot of anger. And that's when we were all together and we were sort of looking around because we didn't know, the sound of the gunfire. I couldn't honestly tell if it was behind us or in front of us.
Right.
In some cases, I mean, it actually felt like both.
Agreed.
I thought the shooter was under the bleachers. I thought they were very close.
I remember in one of the videos, you can hear you pointing out he's in the bleachers or something. You say that out loud.
Okay.
I don't know if it was him because I know it was chaos, right?
Yeah.
You know, that fight or flight kicked in, right? It felt like it lasted forever.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
But when you watched a video that I recorded, you know, it was almost instantaneously, but it didn't with the way it played out in my head. You know, speaking, but
and
there was,
and then Corey Comprator being shot right behind us in that way. And I went up and looked, and the doctor is pumping away on him. And meanwhile, you know, well, we saw it, half his head was gone. So that wasn't, but he kept on going, that doc.
Yeah. God bless him.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of warriors. So you can tell a warrior, right? When shit hits the fan, you can tell a lot of people can talk the talk, but when bullets start flying, you know, in your line of fire and you see it and the reactions, you can tell. And Dan, I can say you're a warrior.
Well, hey, thanks, Nick. You know, you guys are too. I mean, we're not here to because we got nothing else better to do, right? I mean, we're here for our country. We're here to do the things that maybe some other people can't do, and that's why I love you guys. You show up. I mean, you're present, and you have a mission. And your mission is to help bring all this together and do the right thing for our country.
I appreciate that.
And elections are a huge piece of it. We got to keep them secure. We got to keep them fair. We got to have a high level of integrity, and we got to turn out. People got to understand the importance of voting.
So speaking of that, what's happening in Congress right now? Like, kind of give us like whatever you can reveal, kind of behind the scenes. You know, what's going on, because I know the public are only, a lot of people, you know, they're hearing podcasts, but they don't really get to hear it all from congressmen. And then, you know, we watch your interviews all the time from, you know, legacy media, but they put their spin on it. So, you know, coming from you, Ra, what do you got?
Well, first off, honestly, thank God President Trump's in, and we kept the House and we have the Senate, because the direction they wanted to take our country was off the left cliff and then some. I mean, Kamala Harris was, Biden didn't have the wherewithal to do all the things that they wanted to do. And we got lucky in a couple of cases. When, for instance, when they had the House and the Senate and they didn't pass their H.R. 1, I mean, that was a federal takeover of the elections. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Right.
I mean, they knew exactly what they were doing, keeping the border open in the manner that they did, you know, to increase the population of voters, number one, so as certain pockets would be more likely to lean Democrat. That's a longer term strategy, but the shorter term strategy is very simply to make voters out of them.
Right.
Right. So we're very fortunate that we won this. We worked for it. The American people, we have renewed faith, I think, in the American people, right? I mean, we don't have our left. They're like, no. We like the traditions of America, conservatism, if you will, more than we like this crazed new, what I sometimes call just a neo-Democrat Party.
Yeah.
Because it's not a traditional Democrat party.
Not at all. Complete opposite what they used to be.
Right. So nobody could relate to them. We needed to make sure that they were in fact relating to us. And that's certainly where Trump came in, right? I mean, he came across to middle income. He came across to the unions. He came across to the blue collar. I mean, they saw us as someone, you know, people just now said to me, look, you know, maybe things aren't perfect, but we know we got somebody fighting for us.
God bless.
Yeah.
Yep.
And older people, younger people, you know, making those comments. So look, the President Trump's got a plan, and we're working on executing the plan. And it's about national security. It's about border security.
Yep. It's
about energy dominance, which is also national security, right? It is about, you know, certain levels of world stability. So we're not going to be sending $100 billion of the American people's money to the Ukraine to prolong the death of young Ukrainians and young Russians and young whoever else. All right. Just to, I don't know, make a point, but just to keep it going. And that's what the president talks about, and his boys, by the way, when they come and talk about it, Eric and Donnie, I mean, they talk about the death of the young people.
Yeah.
And that's because their father, that's what President Trump talks about. That's what he hates most about it. Not necessarily the money, although it's a excessive cost. I mean, just this death toll taking place for what?
Wasteful.
Right.
It's just, the humanity behind it, right? It's just the disregard of just human.
Yeah.
Like it's
Just awful. Putin's a thug. Putin's a bad guy.
Sure.
We get all that, but we've had bad guys throughout history.
right.
They've got to be. It's got to be dealt with, and it needs to. We need to de-escalate. We need ceasefires is what we need.
Yep.
Middle East, and of course, the only reason that Putin invaded the Ukraine was because Biden pretty much gave him the green light.
Yep.
By the way, and when we pulled out of Afghanistan, that was just a sign that we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Right.
We're removing ourselves from the world stage and then some. I mean, it was set up just for a dictator like Putin to take advantage of the situation.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
Middle East, same thing. I mean, the Hamas and the
Houthis.
and the Houthis and Iran, of course. I mean, Iran enriched themselves. That's all. That's not all fairy tale stuff. I mean, they were down to a few $1 billion.
Right.
And the people were uprising. They were going to be overthrown. And then, Biden comes in and removes the sanctions on Iran. They start selling their oil, particularly to China and other rogue nations or whomever, because there was no controls kept on it. And next thing you know, they got $80 billion to use to raise hell.
Yep.
And to go after Israel and go after us.
Yep.
So there's just so many things that went wrong, and all of these things are no longer going wrong. And then, from some national security to strengthening this economy, to giving America every opportunity to be the place that is most competitive, or at least as competitive as anywhere else. And the real adversary out there economically is China.
Right.
I mean, the others, look, its allies taking advantage of it. They've been doing it forever.
Yep.
Sometimes I analogize it to if you have a brother-in-law who borrows money from you, or it could be a friend, doesn't be a brother.
Yeah.
And just keeps on borrowing, comes over, never brings it up. He's at Thanksgiving dinner. Hey, by the way, I wonder if you can help me out with another couple of thousand.
Yeah.
And what about the 10,000 I already gave you? So, and if you say no, that wow, no, you're a bad guy.
Now you're a bad
I thought
guy.
we were
Yep.
close. I thought we were family.
Yeah. Throw a couple points on there. Hey.
And I don't know if that's the right analogy, but that's
Right.
how our allies have treated us.
Right.
But just keep on giving.
Yep.
And, and I know you got $36 trillion in debt, but that's your problem. No, it is our problem. And we're going to address it. We're going to address it through growth, which is necessary for our manufacturing and our and wages. And we need to make more taxpayers, not more taxes.
Agreed.
The more taxpayers we have, the more revenues come in, the more we can truly invest in infrastructure, transportation, and all the other things that we need to deliver, or we should be able to deliver. So all these things are happening. And this reconciliation bill is going to be very important.
Yep.
And then we just keep on going. Limit the size of government, save for the people. You saw the crazy. The president pointed them out at the joint session.
Oh,
of the
yeah.
State of the
Yeah.
Union.
It was
Insane.
it's an embarrassment.
They use the USAID as their own little personal,
Slush fund.
highly
Yeah.
liberal, highly ideological slush fund to dole out around the world.
Yep.
And you know what? We haven't really asked yet. What did some of those people get back in return?
Quick reminder here, folks, make sure you're registered to vote. Easiest way to do that is by downloading the Early Vote Action app. Go ahead and navigate through the app, find your state, and make sure you're registered to vote. Why? Because when we vote, we win. Back to the podcast.
All right,
Oh,
we're
man.
live.
I'm not sure what I feel like. I feel like I'm in a
Are you in
machine
the-
that can take care of some business.
Are you in the twilight
Well,
zone?
that's that was kind of that was our idea, because we want to give the people a live look, what it's really like, Rob, because we're Americans, but we're real people, right? So we want to have people come on here, discuss their point of views, and they can see it. And then we got the bus all set up where we put the GoPros on the outside. You should see all the looks we get on this bus.
You should have seen us at Home Depot before we
funny.
showed up.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh yeah. So Dan, another question I want to ask. President Trump, all you congressmen, everybody's doing what they need at the high level. What can the American people do? Grassroots. What are the big pain points that we really need to hone in on? Because I know we have the big 2026 elections coming up, right? Those are big. What would be the message to the American people? What do we need to do at home?
Well, always get to the truth, right? I mean, it's what I've always said to my children growing up. You know the truth. Whichever side, if you want to vote Democrat, you want to vote Republican, in the end, but know the truth.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get that from one source. You gotta, get various sources and truly understand the situation and what's going on. Those who get elected should be truthful. I mean, I can't stand campaigns that lie.
Yeah.
Because if somebody's going to lie in order to get elected, what makes you think they're not going to lie once they're in office?
Correct.
So, and it can't just be 1% of the truth either. It's got to be the truth.
I call it the Donald Trump truth. It's blatantly honest. Some people might not like it, but that's why I love him, because I know he's being transparent.
Absolutely.
Right.
And
those Marxist subjective truths, right?
Yeah.
Subjective truths.
Right. Or the the projection that they do, and the gaslighting and the nonsense, and calling others what they know fully well they are guilty of. I mean, they've kind of mastered that.
Right.
But what people could do is, look, first off, love America, contribute to America.
Right.
Carry your weight, and maybe the weight of somebody else as well. I mean, I think that just comes from within, and that just comes from, I think, being a industrious or good American.
Right.
But as well, try to make incremental differences towards where we need to go, because it is a republic if we can keep it.
Right.
It's not going to just stay here if we don't work towards it. It's just not. I saw when I was in office how close we were to really losing it. I mentioned that HR 1 bill, and other things that they had planned. I mean, I believe anyway, their ultimate plan is a one-party system and complete control of the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
And not to sound too extreme, but that's kind of like a Politburo. I mean, that's what exists in China. All right. So then that works very well for those that are within that Communist Party.
Correct.
That are within the party.
Yeah. And I mean, if you read history on it, I mean, it's right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it mimics it, like I say, it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck.
Control the media, control the state governments, you don't even need the state governments if you got the federal government. So stay as diligent as possible. Incremental gains. Do something. But there's talk and then there's action.
Sure.
Knock on the doors. Just try to help our republic in any incremental way that can be done.
My question, I do have a question in regards to, like, so I know, like, pressuring your local congressman. When there's certain bills up there, like from you in your seat, like if you wanted. You represent your people, right? And say people are trying to, because politics is politics. You got to kind of walk a line. You know what I mean? You got to get it through. Like we're from New York, right? And what they're doing there is absolutely terrible. Mm-hmm. They are infringing on the Second Amendment like no other. How can what do we need to do to communicate with our congressmen and Congress ladies in Congress? Like, what's the way the New Yorkers can get involved and put a bug in their ear and be like, listen, it's enough of this. Like, what can we do? Like, as the people.
Yeah, great questions. Have leaders like you educate the general public, state that, look, that Democrat says they're for the Second Amendment, but look at their voting record. I mean, even some cheap pamphlets that can be put together. Go to the NRA and the different gun shows and raffles at the shows that we do. We have the situation in Pennsylvania where the teachers union is ridiculously strong.
Yeah.
And they have many politicians, I'm not going to say in their pockets, but highly influenced.
Sure.
And what's strong about them is the money that they have, which is sort of outrageous because they work and they're paid via the taxpayer, and they have a percentage of their income that they receive, their salary, which they earn, of course, goes towards their union PAC, which is used as a device to only elect those that are favorable to the teachers' union.
Right.
So it's really
It's a rigged system.
a very, very rigged type of system.
Yeah.
So we need to overcome that.
Mm-hmm.
And we overcome that through first just focus on students, right? I mean, appeal to people that way. So things like school choice and accountability in teachers.
Sure.
We don't have any accountability in Pennsylvania. Almost literally.
You're talking to New Yorkers, right?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
know. Trust me, we hear you.
And that does take money as well.
Yep.
I mean, the Democrats raise money like there's
No
no
other.
tomorrow. I mean, you saw even down in those Florida races.
Yeah.
They had us 3-1.
Yep.
Wisconsin, they had us. Everybody was complaining about Elon putting in $20 million. Meanwhile, George Soros and a couple of others put in like 12.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then on top of that, they had like another 30.
Yep.
They still had $12-15 million more than we did.
Yep.
So the money matters too. $10, and however you feel comfortable in sending it in, because it matters. When I see on my WinRed, when I see $20 coming in from somebody in New Jersey, and I really appreciate that.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And that makes a difference too. And it doesn't get squandered. It gets used to by our candidates to stay in office and vote the right way.
So my message would be this. It would be, how our money was being spent on the war in Ukraine. We get taxed in this. My message to the American people is just, take what Dan just said, and that money that you were going to get taxed on, put it so we can fight that issue, right? And that's where I think the investment needs to come into play, and that's where we become powerful. Because if we can raise money like Democrats, we're fighters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Republican Party is a bunch of fighters, and what we're doing, with God bless Charlie Kirk and all them, and to like I always say, the youth of the nation is the future of this nation, right? So we have to get the youth out. We have to get them educated. And we're seeing, when we went to State College, boys, did we not love State College?
Oh,
We
yeah.
watched a bunch of the young alphas walking around wearing that hat proud.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
Isn't
it
that
was
great?
cool. Like, it was cool to be, and that's kind of like our mission too.
Yeah, I hear you. Turn out. I
Get
mean,
involved is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Get involved, stay involved, feel part of it. Know that turnout, we can win. And just with like-minded, we talk about trying to get converts and win over Democrats. I mean, there's so many differences there. I'm not sure how many of the converts we waste our time with.
Sure.
But as long as we get like-minded, and it doesn't, independent, certainly, it could be traditional Democrats, right? I mean, every type of Republican that there is, but we need them to, frankly, right now, vote Republican if we want the responsible work to be done. Border security, energy security, public safety.
Yep.
Right? I mean, on the state level, we talk about that so much on a federal level, but my God, crime.
Oh,
Our cities are crumbling as well.
Sad.
Where the hell is all this money going that has been overspent? There's really minimal accountability there too. And then allow our economy to be strong with competitive tax rates. I mean, these lunatics, all right, on the so-called other side of the aisle, and do not want to pass the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. That will put somewhere in the neighborhood of a 25% tax increase on all small businesses, and that's an accurate number.
Right.
It will be big trouble for the competitiveness of American businesses. It'll hurt us. In the end, it'll reduce revenues because
Sure.
it proved that it does increase revenues. Job creation will fall. Wages will fall. It just and yet they love sitting there saying, "Oh, it was a tax cut for
I know.
billionaires." That's such a old, foolish, wrong cliche on their part.
The beauty of it, in my opinion, is the public ain't believing it anymore. They
There you
know
go.
they're full of
Right,
shit.
Right.
No, we've spoken up, and we're electing the leaders and putting you guys in the right spots to do the right things for us and
Yep.
turn this country around. So I want to say thank you for what you do
Yeah.
for our country. and all the fellow congressmen out there as well. And
You
senators.
guys are like heroes. I'll tell you what. Seriously, you come in with a van like this, being serious as you are, but good guys about why you're doing this, because you care about our country, love our country, and you want the next generation to love our country too.
Correct.
So that's what it's about.
It takes all of us. It really does on multiple levels, and that's where, like I said, we're doing our nonprofit there, the dads. The education is a huge portion, and it's scary. I like I said, I'm a big believer in God, and God, he pushed me in this direction because after the Trump got in, it's like kind of we have till 2026. Obviously, we still do our grassroots efforts, registering voters, educating people, but there's a bigger calling that's happening right now.
I agree. Beginning of this year, my kids were doing that. They're in their 20s, their resolutions, and I said, you only need one resolution for this year. I said, here's my recommendation: stay calm and trust in God.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
I'll tell you what. Up until July 13th, my relationship with God was a tricky one. That day, I truly believe we were all put there together for a reason. And here we are, 7-8 months later, together again.
Mm-hmm.
There's a higher power at work here.
Yep.
Good will outweigh evil.
Yep.
And I do have one last question that all the MAGA wives have been asking us. And they want to know, when are you going to have the MagaBoyz down in D.C. so they can have some peace and quiet at home?
Well, they keep wondering because they're like, what are you guys doing? We're like kids. Like, no, believe me, you're not there. You don't see what we're doing.
Right.
Well, come down to D.C. We would have an absolutely great time. You would have a great experience. If you came in on like a Monday night or something, Tuesday, I'd bring you into conference.
Oh.
You could meet everybody. Johnson,
Yep.
he'd want to get a picture with you.
Absolutely.
We met Johnson there in Madison Square Garden,
Yep.
but I mean, we'd love to meet him
right.
in DC.
And sit in some meetings.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
We'll take you on a tour, of course, of the Capitol. We could likely get you into the White House.
Can we dress like this for the meetings?
The Trump is
Now
we got
you can.
we might have to pull out dark MAGA for that.
Oh, we do have the dark MAGA gear.
Yeah, we got something new that
would be exciting. That would be well.
we were going to bust out for today,
Yeah.
but
We held it back. Yeah.
we held it back. I think a trip to DC would be a great time for them.
You guys come down dark MAGA. I think my Democrats would run as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to deal with them that
Right.
day.
So guys, next Monday we'll be down there.
We'll set it up though. But Dan, like Devin said, and from the heart of the MagaBoyz, we appreciate you. We know you're a warrior. We appreciate everybody in Congress,
Thanks, guys.
everybody that's fighting for us. Just know that we will always have your back, and we're going to continue to fight right beside you.
Same. I'm glad to be one of your brothers. Appreciate it, boys.
God bless.
God bless.
God bless.
you.
All right.
We will make America great again.